Good morning, good afternoon, evening, depending on where you are joining us from around the world today. Welcome to today's presentation. I'm Chavi Hartley, and I'm thrilled to be hosting this session with Jim Holman, who is the Director of Admissions at Kelley School of Business, and Brad Rosenwinkel, who is the Senior Associate Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at Kelley School of Business. They are here to give a brief but insightful presentation about their MBA program and answer the questions that you may have. They will share what makes this program unique and why you should strongly consider applying in the upcoming MBA cycle. Kelley is known for its collaborative culture and hands-on learning, focusing on leadership development and career support. It's a top choice for career acceleration and pivots, and a favorite of corporate recruiters. Before I pass things over to Jim and Brad, I'd like to highlight, after the presentation, we'll open the floor for a question and answer session. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit them via the Q&A tab on the right-hand side of your screen. Please refrain from posting your questions in the chat window as they may get overlooked. Thank you for joining us. And now, without further ado, I'll hand it over to Jim and Brad. Take it away.
Great. Thank you very much, Shavi. Welcome, everyone. Again, my name is Brad Rosenwinkel. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Admissions and Financial Aid. And as was shared, we're here to highlight a few differentiating features of the Kelley MBA program. As you're looking at schools, a lot of them probably start to sound the same. They're going to talk about collaboration. They're going to talk about outcomes. They're going to talk about their student communities, and those different types of things. We're going to try to, highlight specifically what's different here at Kelley and what makes us unique there in a sense. We're going to start with a program that is really the cornerstone of where we start working with our students. It's called Me Inc. And this is focused on building your personal brand, telling your story, looking at some of the questions that you're probably already thinking about now and will continue to think about throughout the application process, such as, why am I here? Where do I want to go? Why an MBA? Why now? What do I want to get out of this experience? How do I get to where I want to be? All of those deep questions that you're starting to peel back the layers on, we're going to dig in even deeper with you on that. We start working with our students over the summer before you get to campus. We have some deliverables that we ask you to complete. And then all of our students are on campus typically by the 1st of August. We're starting to work with our students here on campus. Classes start the last week of August, but we spend that first 3 weeks of August in the classroom here with you, focused not necessarily on the academic components. We're not jumping into the core curriculum yet. We're focused on you. We want to take a step back and have you revisit, why you're here, what you want to get out of this, where you want to go, how this all comes together. And we want to go on that journey with you. We want to invite you to dig a little bit deeper than perhaps you already have as an applicant, because it takes a little bit more meaning once you're actually sitting in a business school there in a sense. And so our coaches will be working with you. You'll be in a small group of about 12 to 15 of your classmates. And our coaches will walk through a 3-week curriculum with you over that time period to really dig into helping you build your personal brand, helping you build that confidence, setting that roadmap, knowing exactly what you want to do and get out of business school, how you're going to get to that next step in your career, to really set you up for success so that you're already hitting the ground running by the time classes start at the end of August. So that's definitely where we kind of kick off the program. Jim's going to talk a little bit more about the academic component.
So once you finish Me Inc., then you're ready to hit the ground running. You're starting the program from a position of knowledge about yourself that will allow you to make even better decisions as you navigate all the opportunities in the full-time MBA program. We target an entering class of about 120, and we will be probably the smallest class or school that you look at among the top MBA programs. When we bring in the class, we'll divide them into 2 cohorts of about 60 students in each cohort. And each cohort will be broken down into teams, 5-person teams. So you'll be on a team with a group of people. You'll all have different academic and professional backgrounds. You'll all come from different parts of the world. But as you work together, as you learn how to capitalize on each team member's unique strengths and contributions, you can be a pretty powerful team working together. And again, you will work together through our core curriculum. Our program starts with our foundational core, which is going to provide you with an understanding, an overview of all of the different functions of business. You'll develop your business tools and skills from critical thinking to um, business communications, accounting, and other pieces and parts. Through our core, which is coordinated and integrated, it's taught by a team of faculty who represent the different disciplines, but they work together to build the entire core schedule, where every day when you walk in, the learning is building on the prior day's learning. Each professor, when they come in to teach a class, they know what you covered with the prior professor in the other prior core class, and if they can build on it, they can. So our students, again, really appreciate this foundation, but they also appreciate finishing the core and being able then to focus on whatever they're most interested in studying. Brad, will you move to the next slide? So after you finish the core, you can identify a single major, a double major, a major, and a minor. We offer 7 different majors, and as you can see, 5 of the 7 majors are STEM qualified, which means if you graduate with one of our STEM qualified majors and you are an international student, you can apply for an extension of the optional practical training, allowing you to stay in the US up to 3 years on your student visa working instead of the customary 1-year OPT with a non-STEM degree. But again, how you choose to focus your academics really depends on your career goals and what you want to accomplish. We do offer the option to have a double major or even a major and a minor. So if you are interested in studying one of our non-STEM designated majors, strategy and leadership, or entrepreneurship and corporate innovation, and you are an international student who want a STEM designated degree, you could always choose one of those non-STEM STEM designated majors and couple them with a second major, be a double major with one of our STEM designated majors to have a STEM designated MBA. And to complete a double major doesn't require additional time, additional coursework, additional money. You just have to carefully select the courses that you take. So again, we've talked about Me Inc. as a unique start to our program, our integrated coordinated core, and Brad's going to talk about the next unique feature of the Kelley MBA program.
Thanks, Jim. So as Jim talked about the academic components of the program, the technical skills that you're going to learn, think of that as what you're learning in the class, the hard technical business skills, Monday through Thursday. On Friday, we have what are called Kelley Academy Fridays. And the academies are something that's unique to Kelley. You won't find anywhere else. The academies provide that bridge, that vehicle between the technical skills of business that you're learning in the classroom and the practical application of what you're going to be doing in your internship, post MBA, as well in your full-time role. And so we have all of our students choose to be a member of a first-year career foundational academy. We have 6 of those. That might be business marketing for B2B, a lot of product management in that realm, maybe consumer marketing, fast-moving goods, consumer products, those different types of things. We also have capital markets, such as investment banking, investment management. We have strategic finance, more the corporate finance route. We also have business operations and innovation, supply chain, change management, operations, generally speaking. And then we also have the Consulting Academy, and that's pretty self-explanatory there what that is. But you'll choose one of those academies based on what you want to do post-MBA. So think of, again, what Jim talked about in terms of your academic major are the technical skills that you're learning. What I'm talking about now are the academies of what you're going to do with those skills, the career path there as well. The academies provide you on those Fridays different guest lectures, speakers, executives from corporate partners, alumni, maybe coming and sharing their experience about what is it like to work in these different industries? How many hours are you really working as an investment banker? Is it possible to have a family as a consultant when you're constantly traveling? Those real life questions that you gain insight into, but also how do you navigate your career as a brand manager or as a product marketer, along those lines. And what do you need to do to be successful in these various industries? The sort of behind the scenes look at the real life of how business works in these different areas. You'll also go on site and visit companies in company treks during our academy weeks. About halfway through the first semester, the academies will each travel out to various spots across the United States, visit a number of different companies. Here you see New York. That's more than likely our capital markets students in New York. They're on Wall Street visiting those companies, those banks there as well. But that's just one example. Each academy has different agendas that they're, different companies they're meeting with each year. And then in your second semester, as part of the academy, you're going to have an actual project that you're working on from one of these partners, these corporations or businesses and firms. A challenge that they're currently facing, real-time challenge, where they come to us and say, we'd love to have your students provide their insight and perspective on this. And so you have a semester-long project that you're working on, doing research, putting together your recommendations, presenting that to their executives then at the end of the project there along those lines. For them, it's a great opportunity to get access to you as the next generation of business leaders. And for you, it's a great opportunity to really put into practice what you've learned, to showcase your experience and have an impact on some of these companies before you even go out into the business world there. We also have some second year, what I think of as enhancement academies and optional choices. We have one for leadership and as well as one for entrepreneurial innovation. If you're interested in those areas, perhaps on top of those first year academies, maybe more long-term or skill developments in leadership and entrepreneurship, you can add that on there. And in addition, we have an academy called Plus Life Sciences that can be added on to any of these academies for both years. If you're interested particularly in life sciences, healthcare, biotech, pharmaceuticals, those different types of things, we offer additional support and resources, opportunities to connect within that industry as well. So certainly, again, the driver between what you're learning in the classroom and where you want to go, what you want to do with that, those are the academies here at Kelley that really differentiate our program.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the international aspects of the Kelley MBA experience. So many of our students want to enhance their global view. The world is getting smaller. Domestic business decisions, regardless of what country you're in, have international implications and vice versa. For those of you who want to expand the international aspects of your education, we have exchange partnerships, study abroad partnerships with top business schools all over the world. If you were interested in spending a semester or part of a semester studying at another business school as part of your MBA experience. But the program, the opportunity that is most popular with our students, I would say probably 2/3 of our students participate in something we call Global Business and Social Enterprise, GLOBASE for short. GLOBASE is an international consulting opportunity. It's a campus-based course that culminates in an international experience. This spring, we offer 3 GLOBASE courses to our students: GLOBASE Argentina, GLOBASE Botswana, and GLOBASE Indonesia. And over the years, we have covered the world. We've had GLOBASE India, GLOBASE Thailand, GLOBASE Vietnam, GLOBASE China, GLOBASE Guatemala, GLOBASE Greece, GLOBASE Nigeria. Again, so many countries have participated and worked with us in GLOBASE. The Kelley School works with local contacts in each of the countries we've identified to identify clients. The clients are often smaller, locally owned businesses. Some clients are nonprofit organizations that need help. So let's say that you're a student and you choose to join the GLOBASE Argentina class. In the class, the campus-based course, you're going to learn a little bit about Argentina, maybe a little bit of history, politics, the business culture, economics, things that impact the current business environment. You're also going to be learning about how to work with a client in a consulting engagement. You're going to be assigned a client, and then you and your team assigned to that client will begin working remotely with your client, getting information to help you understand their current situation, what they're trying to accomplish, what they're struggling with, where they need help. And then you and your team utilizing what you've learned in the MBA program and the resources for the Kelley School, you develop a solution for your client. And then at the end of the campus-based course, each GLOW-based class travels together with their professor to the country that their GLOW-based course is focused on. So GLOW-based Argentina will travel together to Argentina, GLOW-based Botswana to Botswana, and so on, where each team for the first week gets to go to their client's business place, see firsthand what the client has been talking about, and really spend that face-to-face time getting to better understand the situation to help them finalize the solution for their client. During the second week in country, they have the opportunity to travel, visit other parts of the country, maybe visit other neighboring countries, so kind of expand that global view. But so many of our students talk about GLOW-based as one of the highlights of their MBA experience because it was more than just the hands-on learning experience, more than just an international trip, but they truly feel like they made a positive impact, made a difference for their client. And so many of our students stay in contact with their clients after the project is concluded because they have formed a relationship and they want to know, has the client adopted their ideas or any of their suggestions? Are they seeing a difference? Are they seeing improvement? So again, the global opportunities are significant within the Kelley School. And currently in our first year class, 46% of our students are international from all over the world. So in many respects, every class you take has an international flavor when nearly half the students in the classroom are from other parts of the world. And they bring such unique perspectives and examples into the classroom and into the classroom discussion. So I know that you're going back to school to, often make some changes. So Brad's going to talk a little bit about the support you're going to receive as you move through the program.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, again, we're trying to highlight those things that are different here at Kelley, specifically with GLOW-based, with our academies, with our integrated core, with the Me Inc. program. These are things that you're not going to find at any other business school. And I think one thing that you're often looking for is to make that transition in your career and the career support and services that you'll find at business schools. We have all of that. But I think what makes us different is the way that we approach it. All of our career coaches are certified internationally as executive career coaches. They're not just career advisors, so to speak, of telling you, this is what you need to do to your resume. This is how you need to, what you need to do to network or interview or connect with these companies. They're going to sit down with you and they're going to ask you some hard questions and they're going to give you some of that tough love when you need it. But they're also going to help you, dig into really what are the deeper meanings, the deeper things that you're trying to get at? What are the things that really drive and motivate you? Why do you want to pursue the career or the industry that you're talking about that you want to pursue? What are those driving forces? How can we bring those out? Not just in your story to highlight in an interview or in an application or in networking with different recruiters, but that so that you can gain more clarity in terms of where you want to go in your career, both short term and long term, to help you put this roadmap together. Again, they go through significant training to gain this certification, to be able to dig deeper rather than just simply advise you on the career process. They're coaching you through this process as both a professional and as a person in terms of where you want to go in your life. So something, again, that's very unique to Kelley, and as Jim mentioned, being the smallest of the top 20 MBA programs in the US, really pride ourselves on that personalized approach and the ability to work with each student individually to help you accomplish your career goals. And then I also want to talk about the outcomes here. Where do our students go? What are they doing? How much money are they making? All of those different types of things, the ROI, if you will, as well. But I think what you'll see here is, again, unlike some schools, we're not necessarily just a school where all of our students are doing one thing. You see a good mix and a blend here across what are known as the big three in business schools: consulting, about a third of our students; marketing, about 30% of our students; Finance, about 20-25% of our students going into each one of those functional areas across a variety of industries, whether it's tech or healthcare or fast-moving goods or whatever it might be. There's a lot of different sectors that our students are going into. Geographically speaking, we are very well represented. We have about 40% of our students are staying here in the Midwest, central part of the U.S. We have about a third of our students, a little bit more, going out to the West Coast and the Southwest. And then in terms of the Northeast, the East Coast, the Mid-Atlantic, the South, there as well, it's about 20-25% of our students each year. And so with that, you have a good representation across the U.S. I think it's also important to note, although we do have the smallest MBA program of the top 20 programs, we're the largest business school in the U.S. Given the full portfolio of programs that we offer and the strength of all of our programs are recognized as top programs. We're one of the very few business schools that can say that, whether it's our full-time MBA, our online MBA, our specialized master's degrees, our undergraduate programs are all recognized as top 20 programs in the US. And having roughly 15,000 students in the program or in the school overall, with only 100 or so in the MBA program coming in each year, you get the benefits of both worlds. The resources of a huge school that has over 400 faculty across a number of disciplines. You get the personalization of the individual coaching that you're going to get with your career coaches, and that support there as well. You also have all of those benefits at a tuition that is the lowest of the top 20 business schools in the US. You see our average starting salary and signing bonus here, roughly $180,000 as of the latest numbers. But our tuition is about $55,000 to $56,000 per year. Still a big number. I'll definitely agree with you on that. But often that's significantly lower, maybe 50% lower than some of the other schools that you might be considering there as well. So certainly when it comes to ROI, the return on your investment, the value of what you're getting, all of these things that we've highlighted, the numbers make sense.
So I'm going to just briefly talk about how to apply to the Kelley MBA program. And when we get to the Q&A period, if you have specific questions, we can certainly address them there. But we take a very holistic look at each applicant. We don't assign weight to the criteria. We don't consider any part of the application to be any more or any less important than any other part. It is a challenging and rigorous academic program. And so we look at people's academic record and test scores to make sure they have the potential to be successful. Good test scores, a strong academic record can also help differentiate candidates in a competitive pool. We do provide the opportunity to apply for a GMAT or GRE waiver if you have a strong past academic record, evidence of completion of quantitative and analytical coursework. You could be considered for a GMAT or GRE waiver and then apply without. For international candidates whose native language is not English, we want results of the TOEFL or IELTS to demonstrate your English proficiency. But if you are from an English-speaking country, if you earned a college degree from a college or university where English was a language of instruction, then that requirement is automatically waived. We also want to see candidates with at least 3 years of full-time professional experience. And the good news is we value all kinds of experience. It doesn't have to be business. We each year do have students with business backgrounds, but we also have engineers, we've had teachers, we've had musicians, we've had athletes, and everything in between. What we're more interested in, regardless of your career path, what have you accomplished? What are the transferable skills that you have developed in whatever career you have had? Some of those skills are going to be what you share and bring with you into the classroom, the sharing classroom discussion and with your teammates. Our next application deadline is January 5th. For international students, we encourage them to apply by no later than January 5th. We have 2 remaining deadlines, March 1st and April 15th, which will be available for domestic candidates and U.S. citizens and U.S. permanent residents. But for the best chance of admission for an international candidate, applying by January 5th is best. And we are generous with merit-based financial aid. Currently, over 90% of our students have scholarships or fellowships from the Kelley School of Business. You don't have to submit a separate application. Everyone offered admission is automatically considered as part of the admissions process. So Brad already mentioned that we have the lowest tuition among the top ranked programs, and probably one of the largest financial aid budgets, or most generous financial aid budgets as well for our entering students.
Great. And so what can you do from here? Stay connected with us. Visit our website. Connect with us at other virtual events like this. We have a number of them posted on our website where you can learn more, connect with our current students. We have events where we have current students joining us to share their experiences. We also have a list of our current students, our what we call Who's Your Host student ambassadors on our website that you can sort and filter through and find some that maybe resonate with you. Reach out to them and learn more about their experience firsthand. And then we also offer virtual office hours every other week. Again, those will be listed on our website. You see it here on the screen. But stay connected with us. We look forward to working with you, answering questions that you have, both today and after today. And now I think we're going to turn it over to Chavi to help us sift through some of the questions you all have submitted. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful and insightful presentation. It was really great to learn more about Kelley School of Business and your MBA program. Now let's dive into the questions we have received. Could you please tell about the most common mistakes made during the application or interview process? This question is asked by Tanisha Garg in India.
I can start this, but I think probably most mistakes are driven by someone rushing, not taking the time, not reading the application instructions carefully. And so I think the most common mistake is maybe starting too late. If you read the application instructions carefully, if you proofread and review your application before submitting it, you're probably going to be in good shape. And with the interview, you have all the answers. It's all about you. And ultimately, we're just trying to get to know a little bit more about you. Reviewing your application before you interview to remind yourself what you wrote in the essays might be helpful. But again, just give yourself time and carefully proofread your essays. Make sure you've actually answered the questions asked, and you should be in good shape.
Nawang Agarwal from India asks, what makes for a successful admit to top tier B schools in US? Is it only the essay prompt, CV, GMAT, GRE, and GPA? Or is there a defined value add? Or is there a defined value add factor that a candidate likely offers to MBA cohort that is preempted by the graduate adcoms?
Yeah, that's a great in-depth question there, Nawang, and certainly appreciate you that thoughtful question there as well, because oftentimes candidates get wrapped up into, I need a certain GMAT score, or I need to have a certain type of profile, those different types of things. And both at Kelley as well as across business schools, it's a very small network, believe it or not. We all know each other. We all, talk to each other. I had the opportunity and blessing to get married last month, and about a third of the people at my wedding were other school reps. We didn't invite GMAT Club and have a virtual event, unfortunately. But so broadly speaking, I think schools are looking for three basic things. One, can you do the work? Two, are you going to get a job? And three, are you a good person? And so when we're thinking about those questions, can you do the work? We're looking at your academic records, your test scores, those different types of things. What kind of academic background do you have? Have you demonstrated the potential to be successful as a student? Are you going to get a job? We're going to look at your resume. What career trajectory have you developed? Where do you want to go? How does this all fit together? Does it make sense? There in that way. That's going to help us answer those questions. And then the last, are you a good person? That's probably where a lot of that value add comes in. Of, what do you bring to the program in terms of the ability to work with others, the ability to contribute, to the environment and culture, community at each school, there as well. What are you going to bring that your classmates are going to learn and appreciate about you, both inside and outside the classroom? So there's a lot there, and I think that's, I think, a big part of why the application is so comprehensive when you're putting it together. It allows us to look at all of these different data points, but really it boils down to those three basic things of, can you do the work academically? What is your career trajectory? Does this make sense? And how do you fit in? What are you going to contribute to our community?
Thank you. Okay. Sati Dasgupta from India, she asks, is your full-time MBA program STEM designated?
Sure. As I mentioned, we have 5 of our 7 majors that are STEM designated majors. So as long as you select and graduate with one of our STEM designated majors or concentrations, then your MBA is STEM designated as well.
Sati has another question. How do the scholarships vary from R1 to R2? Are scholarships need-based or merit-based?
Yes, all of our awards are merit-based, as are most business programs in the US are traditionally just merit-based. Very few have need-based awards at the graduate level. But there is really no difference for us between rounds 1 and round 2, either in terms of chance for admission, if you want to think about it that way, and often candidates do. We don't necessarily think about it that way. We're looking at each individual application itself to determine, again, those 3 basic criteria of are you a good fit for the program, there as well. But there's really no big difference, not much difference at all between, rounds 1 and round 2 for admission or scholarship at Kelley.
Tanisha Garg from India asks, what are the classes like? Case study based, lecture based, teamwork based? What are the peers like?
As you do research, you may come across some MBA programs that say we're 100% case or 100% this. At the Kelley School, you will find a real mix of teaching methodologies. Our faculty will use whatever teaching method makes the most sense for what they're trying to get across. But I think you'll find a good mix of all of those kind of approaches to study. In our core, in the accounting at the beginning, the professors will probably use a little bit more lecture-based until everybody gets the foundation, and then start introducing cases so that you can apply what you have learned. In our strategy component of the core, it's 100% case-based. There's a lot of experiential learning throughout our program. And as related to that, what are the peers like? We're a very collaborative program. Brad and I talked about, working in small groups. You'll work in a team through the core. You'll learn a lot from the professors, but you'll learn a lot from your classmates as well, and they will learn from you. And I think one of the things that we're known for is a very collaborative culture. Our students do have a competitive spirit. I think having a competitive spirit is helpful in the business world, but our students are smart enough to know that they want to be successful with their classmates, not at the expense of their classmates. They know that the value of their degree, the brand of Kelley, continues to grow when they all go out and have great successes. And so you'll see that our students are very supportive of each other as they move through the program.
Trevor James from the United States asks, is there an app fee waiver offered for this info event?
Yeah, Trevor, I think you hit the most common question that a lot of people here, I'm sure, are thinking about. Yes, we will offer application fees. Would encourage you, to stay connected with us, attend some of our other events. We will get the list of candidates, I believe, from GMAT Club that attended this event, and we'll use that to distribute application fee waivers. Not sure what that timeline might look like. So if you're worried about that, I would say jump into our office hours next Wednesday, a week, 6 days from now. It's November the 20th at 12 p.m. Eastern. On our website, you can register for that and ask us additional questions. We'll have a roundtable event again in December where we will offer application fee waivers for that event as well.
Josue Revela from Peru, Josue. He asks, how active is the alumni network in the finance sector, particularly capital markets?
In general, we have a very active alumni network. I think Brad may have mentioned this earlier, but we have the largest alumni population of any U.S. business school, currently over 133,000 living Kelley School of Business alumni worldwide. And so really we have a strong network in all sectors. But we also have very passionate and involved alumni who give back a lot to the MBA program. Brad earlier talked about the academies, and all of the academies, including our Capital Markets Academy, they bring alums back to speak as guest speakers, share information about their companies, about their work, share what a day in their life looks like, talk about their companies or banks or firms and what they look for when they're hiring candidates. We have alums that host our students for visits at their companies, alums who are happy to set up a time for a 10 or 15-minute call to just learn a little bit more about their work. And so, yeah, we have an active alumni population, and they play an important role in our students' MBA education and experience.
Nikita Bansal from India says, since my family business doesn't have external shareholders, major suppliers, or large consumers, what would you recommend for a current recommender? I have a letter from the previous manager, but I'd like to best represent my current role.
Yeah, that's a great question, Nikita, and a challenging situation, probably a good situation, but a challenging situation to be in, particularly when it comes to finding a letter of recommendation there as well. I think your letter from your previous manager is probably very suitable. What schools are often looking for in a letter of recommendation is a third party, kind of typically a direct supervisor or manager, to provide insight into the type of employee, the type of person, the impact that you've had on the organization, some of those types of skill sets there as well. And so although I think you're trying to, want to highlight your current experience, if you don't have someone other than a family member or external, kind of person, there to highlight that experience, you might have to think about how you do that differently. Maybe it's not through your letter of recommendation. Maybe it's through your essay or during an interview or in your resume there as well. All of these pieces and parts come together to tell a story. So don't feel like, for anyone out there, don't feel like you have to tell the whole story in every part of the application. We're looking at all these pieces and parts together to tell that whole story. So I think it's a good question to ask, but know that you won't be discounted in this case because you don't have a recommendation from a current supervisor. We'll still value that previous supervisor's recommendation, and then we'll gain more about your current experience in other ways.
Thank you. Nikita Bansal asks, in what way does Kelley connect students with alumni or industry leaders within specific areas like ESG or sustainable finance?
Yeah, I think as Jim shared, we have the largest alumni base of any business school in the U.S., over 133,000 living active alumni here at Kelley. And so with that comes the breadth, but also the depth of the relationships there as well. A lot of the companies and a lot of the things that we do on the career side are through those alumni relationships all across the country. We had the previous question talk more specifically about capital markets, investment banking, those different types of things. It's a very relationship oriented industry, and that very much happens. There in that sense. I think again, being the smallest MBA program, the relationships that you build here, people are going to know who you are, know what your background, know what your interests, know what your career goals are, and going to be working and doing what we can to help you be successful. At the end of the day, you have to do the work. You have to reach out and make the connections. But we're happy to say, hey, here's some people you should talk to. Maybe you need to go about it this way or a different way. Depending on the industry, depending on the function, each one is a little bit different. We're going to help you understand and navigate that, starting with Me Inc., through the coaching and support that you get in the program, and with the academies, even more so there as well.
So we'll have to probably wrap up. But before we wrap up, I'd like to extend my apologies to anyone whose questions we weren't able to get to. Please don't worry. Jim and Brad will be more than happy to answer any remaining questions via email or through their website. Please feel free to reach out to them directly. I'd also like to thank everyone for taking the time to join us today and for gaining valuable insights into Kelley School of Business and their MBA program. Please remember, this session will be available for replay until November 18th, so you can revisit the content at your convenience. Before we close, is there anything you'd like to share, Jim and Brad? Any final words of wisdom or takeaways?
I would just say, take the time to explore options, take an even closer look at Kelley. You are welcome to reach out to us with any questions you have along the way, as Brad said. But recognize that this is an exciting time, and the opportunity to be a student, to spend 2 years focused on your personal and professional development is a unique opportunity. So take full advantage of that and recognize what a benefit it is at the end, despite the sacrifices you make to get to that point of earning an MBA degree.
Thank you again to both of you, and thanks to everyone who participated today. We appreciate your time, and we hope you found this session valuable. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.